Hi, and welcome. This is the ACT 2018 test, the science test. This is going to be the information regarding passage number 1. So for this very first passage, you do not really need to read this beginning introduction. It does not provide you really with any information to answer the questions. All of the information that you need is found in the figures and the table. But just to summarize what is happening in this question, it is asking you to look at female cockroaches and the types of foods that they prefer. That was just summarizing that introduction. So here we go. Here's for the questions. So question number 1. According to figure number 1, the mass of cheese remaining at 4 hours was closest to which value? So we're looking at cheese. We're looking at 4 hours, and we want to know about how much grams or milligrams there are. So cheese is the white. So you can run your pen over, your pencil over. And it's between, and that's really hard to write with these little pens, but it's between 180 and 190. So it's going to give you the correct answer of C, 185 milligrams. That's the first one. Number 2. Suppose a company wants to use food as bait in a trap designed to capture female cockroaches based on figure 1. Here we go again. Figure 1, which of the foods would you use to capture the most cockroaches? Well, when you look at this, you can see there is a decline, but what was the fastest decline? It is peanuts. The correct answer is J on that one. Let's go to the next page. 41. Considering the 4 foods, so we're going to be looking at all 4 foods this time. By percent, by mass, by protein. So this is found in table number 1, the protein part, from lowest to highest. For food as a percent of the mass increased, the mass of the food at 28 hours did what? So when we look at this one, so we're really just focusing on proteins. When you look at the proteins, you'll notice that the mass of proteins is bigger down here than it is up here. So the mass is increasing as we go down the chart, and we notice that peanuts have the most protein. And so then when you look over here, you can see what happened. Well, proteins had the greatest decrease in volume, or mass, I should say, and so B is the correct answer. So over 28 hours, the peanuts decreased the fastest, but they had the most mass. So the correct answer is B. Number 4. I don't know where my head is. All right, consider the statement: the cockroach ate the food between 0 and 4, 4 and 16, 16 and 24, and 24 and 28 hours. The statement is consistent with the data in figure number 1 for how many of the foods. So figure number 1, when you look at all of these foods, here is your time value. All 4 foods apply with that statement, so the correct answer is J. All right, next one, last 2. Number 5, a student predicted that the cockroach would eat less cat food than ham. So we're looking at 2 values, less cat food than ham at the end of the study. We're going to look at figure number 1 to see if it supports the student's prediction. So we're going to look at figure number 1, and we're going to be looking at just 2 types of food. We're going to look at cat food, and we're going to look at ham. So when you look at, and I'm just going to go to the very end of the study. Here's my cat food. And here's my ham right there. You'll notice that yes, the student was correct. They preferred ham. They preferred ham more than the cat food. So let's go over here. So we know right off the bat that we're going to have these 2 options to choose from, because no, these 2 are both wrong. So now we have to look at, so yes, at 28 hours, the mass of cat food remaining was about 50, sorry, I shouldn't use that. About 55 milligrams or 95 milligrams. So now we have to do a pretty simple math over here. So when you look at this chart over here, and we're going to compare. So the cat food is about 165, and then the ham is about 110. And so if you do the math, you'll find that it's about, I don't know, right around here, this value. So the correct answer is A on that one. And then finally the last one, based on table 1, so now we're looking at table 1, when 200 milligrams of each of the 4 foods are placed in a box. Water accounted for more than, so we want to know which water is more than 100 milligrams of each of the foods. So when you think about this, 100 milligrams is water, 200 milligrams is food. This is 1/2 or 50%, and they want to know accounted for more. So we want to look for something that's greater than 50%. So when we look at this table over here, and we're in the water category, we can see that only 2 values account for over 50% of the value. So cat food and ham. And so when you look at that one, you have down here cat food and ham, which is letter G, and that is the correct answer for that one. So that is the very first passage. Hopefully that helped.